This is Chapter 6 above the segment. Think about panoramic. How many syllables does it have, and which syllable has the correct stress? Give you a minute to think. Panoramic has 4 syllables, and the third syllable carries the stress. Think about how many syllables are in these words. I, sound, strength, language, button, Atlantic, radiator, systematic, compensatory, regulations. I'm going to let you figure that on your own, and then in the notes it'll have the answers. If there is one syllable, they're monosyllabic words like an O, scrubbed, strength. Disyllabic words are 2 syllables, kingdom, feeling. Multisyllabic words are 3 or more, purify, emphasize, registration. When you're graphing syllables, there is an onset and a rhyme. R-I-M-E is how I know it the best. As in, if you have b, at, onset is b, and then at is the rhyme, which is the a and the t. So this is how you graph it. Onset, rhyme, and then the rhyme breaks it down into nucleus and coda. So in keep, it goes k, e, p. So k is the onset, E is the nucleus, and P is the coda. Now, there's parts of the syllable. There's onset and coda, and it's always a consonant. But onset and coda are not mandatory. The nucleus is obligatory. You have to have a nucleus. And when you break down syllables, you always have to have a vowel. So it's always part of the nucleus. There are syllabic nasals and syllabic liquids, as in button and bottle. Button, n, the n is a syllable, and the ul is a syllable in bottle. What about glides? In syllables, they're counted as treated as consonants because they cannot be the nucleus of a syllable. So think about the onset of sprint. What would that be? Would it be sp, spr, I, nt, or t? What's the onset? It's actually the SPR, spur, sprint. 2 principles of syllabification is sonorant hierarchy and onset maximization. Sonorant hierarchy and syllabification, the sonority is the loudness of the sound relative to that of the other sounds with the same length, stress, and pitch. Sonorant sounds are louder and can be sustained longer, and they're more open in their production. So here's the sonority scale. These are less sonorant, and these are more sonorant. So you have voiceless stops that are very unsonorant, and the most sonorant are the low vowels. Think about, where would affricates fit in this? They fit between the stops and the fricatives because they're a combination of those two. So here's a really nice graph of the sonorant icity of the sound. There is a hierarchy, and if you're choosing a syllabic nuclei, the sonority increases with the onset, and then there's a nucleus or a peak, and then the sonority decreases within the coda. So if you think about it, it's onset, it goes up, it peaks, and then it comes down to the coda. Some exceptions to the sonority hierarchy. When onset is an S plus a voiceless stop, as in spine, stick, skull, or when the coda is a stop plosive plus a fricative, box, ads. If you have those are exceptions to the sonority hierarchy. So think about which one violates the sonority hierarchy. Which word? Dark, list, school, quick, slime. Which one do you think? It actually is school. Violates the sonority hierarchy. I'll let you think about that. Onset maximization and syllabification. I'm having trouble with multisyllabic words today. In general, languages prefer to have an onset. You don't always have to have an onset like in, on. but most languages like to have that onset. It maximizes the onset of a syllable while obeying the phonotactics of the language. Remember, phonotactics are the language-specific rules for how sounds can be combined and what position they can take in a word. So in English, we have no words that start with ng, or we don't have any w or y in the codas. It just doesn't happen in our language. We can have sp as an onset, but we can't have sb as an onset. That just doesn't work in our language. Examples of onset maximization: attend, reflex, syllable, hindsight. Those onsets are maximized. Syllabification, how to make syllables. You always want to identify the nucleus, which is a vowel or a liquid. Move to the left of the nucleus and pick up onsets, and it can be more than one sound, like when we did sp, ain. The sp is the onset. Identify the codas to the right of the nucleus and obey the sonority hierarchy principle. Usually you do that. Compromise. If you think about it, we found in this one, the vowel. You go to the right, go to the left, that's the onset, and then compromise, Think about how you break up the syllables, and there are your division points. So practice syllabifying these words. Develop, astonish, promise, permissible, complicated. Here's another question for you. What is the correct syllabification for conflagration? Conflagration, if I can say the word. Think about it. Where do you break it up? I think the tricky part here, and I'm going to actually show you the answer, is conflagration. So the gr goes all together. So that's the onset of that syllable. But there's no coda. You don't have to have a coda. So that's how you divide it up.